Welcome to Spreadsheet Tips on Graphs. What you see in front of you is just some sample data, just looking at the first quarter, maybe sales performance versus budget for a business. And data isn't always so fun to take a look at, so maybe we want to go ahead and put this in a graph format for our presentation. So all we're going to do is just very simply go ahead and highlight the data that we would like to graph. We're going to go up here and say Insert, and we're going to select Charts, okay? And you'll see that there's a bunch of different charts that you can pick from. For this example, I'm going to go ahead and select a line chart. Now we've even got more choices, and I'm going to go with this one. You can kind of see it right away. It goes ahead and creates a chart for you. But this chart, I mean, it's okay, but there's a lot of improvements that we could do to this chart. Just starting out, if you just click on title, it's going to let you edit the title here. And so this was our sales for the first quarter. So let's just go ahead and label, what our chart is. Another thing that I could change is, you see how my lines are kind of crunched in here? It'd be nicer if I could maybe change my axis to drop off anything below 200,000. It'll give me maybe a cleaner, easier to read chart. So I'm going to go ahead and right click, okay, and I'm going to say Format Axis. So I've right clicked on this axis and I'm going to say Format Axis. And see how the bounds, it actually lets you select a minimum and a maximum. I've used this a lot because I just think it really cleans up your chart. So I'm going to go ahead and put my minimum at 250,000. Okay. I'm just going to hit enter. Now I can see much better, in my opinion, what's going on in this chart. And the reader can go ahead and just see, okay, this is from 250,000 to 370,000. Another thing that is just a preference, I'd like to go ahead and move this legend. I think I'd rather see it on the right-hand side, so I can go ahead and right-click and say Format Legend. And I would rather see this legend on the right. I just think it looks better, it reads better. There. So I've made a line graph. I think it reads pretty good. So I could go ahead and save this. But the thing is that that's a nice graph for the first quarter, but your time is going to keep moving on. And maybe you like this graph and so did management, and now you want to show it for the first 6 months of the year. So what we can do is click and drag over to give us another 3 months worth of data. And now your chart is going to change right away. So I can also highlight my months here, click and drag over 3. Did you see like the months filled in down here on my chart? And I also can go ahead and input my data for April, May, and June. So let's just say 2013, we had made some improvements and we were steadily climbing. So I can go ahead and show my history of 2013. My budget, probably consistent for the year, so I'm going to go ahead and just pull my budget over. So then in 2014, what actually happened, and of course I'm just making up numbers here, but you can kind of see how easily you can create a chart and then add data after the fact. Well, maybe one of the managers says, I don't like line graphs. I'd rather see this in a bar graph. You could go back and change that as well. just by going back up to Insert. Here's your charts. As long as you have your chart highlighted, you could go ahead and say, you know, let's go to a bar graph. And now, using the exact same data that you had, you just changed your line graph to a bar graph. Everything else stayed the same. So charts are just a great thing to add to any kind of presentation. You know, not everybody reads data like accountants do. Some people are more visual and need a graph or a chart. So just another thing you can add to kind of enhance the type of work that you are doing. Well, thanks for joining me today on graphs, and that is it.